Welcome back to just another year of Chicago Bears football. That is right, guys. What is going on? Welcome to the Touchdowns to Home Run Chicago Bears postgame show. Now, quick disclaimer, if you look around me, if you've been keeping up with my recent videos, you obviously see that this isn't my normal setup. The lighting is not good. I'm holding my microphone like this. Blank wall behind me. I am currently isolated because I have COVID-19, unfortunately, but that does not mean I can't be watching all football all day. That's all I've been doing all weekend, college football, ever since Thursday. Thursday we had NFL football, Friday we had some college, and then Saturday we had obviously the big day of college football, which was an amazing day, and then Sunday I've spent the last about 4 days watching football. That's all I've done, so that does not mean that I cannot bring you guys some more great content and break down my beloved Chicago Bears and the game that we have just played on Sunday night. On Sunday night of week 1 in the NFL, the Chicago Bears travel to Los Angeles to take on the Los Angeles Rams. Now, we all knew that Andy Dalton was going to be the starter going into this. I think that that's something that all Bears fans had to accept, no matter if you feel like Fields should start, which, if you look at my jersey, I'm obviously a big advocate of you people who want Fields to start. But there's nothing that we could do. Dalton was starting, and he was going to be our guy throughout the whole game. Now, I personally, at least for my opinion, we saw a lot more Justin Fields. Before we start talking about Justin Fields, let's talk about this game as a whole. Roller coaster of a game, because we started out in the beginning, and all I was saying at the beginning of the game was the Bears suck. Just another season of Bears football. Why am I still a fan of this team? Why am I still here? And this is terrible. And then it wasn't even the difference between our offense at the beginning of this game, at least at the beginning of this game, and I feel like throughout the game until like the fourth quarter, that was pretty trash at the end. But our offense was actually moving. Like, it was actually a lot more satisfying to watch this offense that I saw put out on the field today than the offense of prior years, where the prior years' offenses with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles and everything like that go out, it's a 3-and-out, and you're off the field. This offense, at least their mistakes and at least everything that they did poorly was at least down the field in opponent's territory. Like, yes, we started at the game. Montgomery has an amazing run to kick us off. We have a great kick return, and then Montgomery has the amazing run, and then we throw a pick on 3rd and 6 in the red zone or something like that. Go for a couple fourth downs in LA territory, miss them both. At least we're making mistakes as we're moving down the field. We're moving down the field. That was the first positive I took away from this game. So as we started to move down the field and as we started scoring our first touchdown or whatever, I started to shift. It was more towards like the beginning of the second half. I was like, you know what? This game's actually somewhat going now. I mean, I still didn't think that we were going to win, but I looked at the Bears and I was like, when we were going down on our second touchdown drive, I was like, you know what? There's still a slim chance that we win this game. I'm still hopeful, but I like what I'm seeing from this Bears offense. At least we're getting some sort of offense. We're getting down the field. And if it wasn't for a bad pick thrown by Andy Dalton in the first quarter or first drive, if it wasn't for some of those fourth down conversions, if we just got one of those, who knows what the score could be. So it was very one play things that could have been the difference in this game for us. And then as we got into the fourth quarter, after Fields scored his first touchdown, which I went crazy over because I'm a big Justin Fields guy. After that one, and you start to really see the deterioration of this secondary, that's when I went back to how I was feeling in the first quarter, and I was just like, this team is in grave trouble. And I come out of this game and I see a lot more positives than what the Bears games I would have come out of last season being like, oh my gosh, this team is terrible and everything like that. I can pick some positives out of this game. First of all, David Montgomery, welcome back. He's going to be absolutely vital to this Bears offense. If we want to have any offense, if David Montgomery can keep rushing for over 100 yards in a game, and he has the ability, the escapability, the agility, whatever you want to call it, to be a very, very good running back for this Chicago Bears team and one of the better running backs in all the NFL. David Montgomery has shown that he can be that guy for the Chicago Bears, so he had an amazing game today. I think he rushed for around 108 yards, so definitely a plus of this offense. David Montgomery, in my opinion, was kind of the MVP of this game. I look at Fields. We're going to talk some Justin Fields because Fields outside in his only plays. So he threw for 2 for 2, 100%, amazing start to the career, and he rushed for 1 touchdown. So what we saw so far from Justin Fields, very, very good. Obviously, it was very, very minimal, but he scored one of our only 2 touchdowns in the whole game. It was exciting for Bears fans. It was really exciting for just watching on the TV, and it was exciting for him that he is finally a Chicago Bear. We're just waiting for that moment for him to get in at quarterback. Wide receivers, I don't really know what to say because I just feel like obviously Allen Robinson had 6 catches today. He didn't catch for that much. We just lack a deep ball threat. Even though we have Darnell Mooney, we just don't take our shots downfield to be able to make those plays that when you watch games, like if you watch the Browns and Chiefs today, if you want to see why both of those offenses are so high powered, it's because they can actually throw the ball downfield and they can throw it deep. Excuse me as I have a video playing on my box score right now. Now we move on to the defense. Defensive line I thought was amazing today. We held the Rams, at least in the first half. Take away the fourth quarter, our defensive line, I think, was personally really, really good. We held them rushing-wise. The secondary was bad. The secondary is going to be a huge point of concern all season. I mean, there were plays that they're really good. We were able to force them to some third downs, and it is the plays when the secondary collapsed that it just felt like it really collapsed. Like, it wasn't a minimal collapse where it's like, oh, you give up a first down or something like that. When our secondary collapsed, they collapsed big. And I'm talking huge, massive touchdown throws for the Rams, for Matt Stafford, for Cooper Kupp, for Van Jefferson, all those other guys. And that's when you just hold your hair and you're just like, what on earth is about to happen in the Chicago Bears defense? Because the secondary is not looking good after the first game. So that is definitely going to be a point of concern for the Chicago Bears moving forward. Other than that, what are we really going to talk about other than who should start next game? The Bears play Cincinnati next weekend. They get Cincinnati at home, so that's going to be a good game. A game that we should be able to win. Now, Cincinnati obviously did go out and get the win today. Cincinnati is a good football team. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, all those other guys, they got some weapons on the outside. So we are really going to be T. Higgins. We are really going to be hit on our secondary if we are not able to perform well because Cincinnati is a team who could throw it. Now, who do we start at quarterback in this game? After what's seen today, I honestly didn't think Andy Dalton was terrible, but he's not the guy if we want to go out and win football games. He can manage a game. He's going to be a good backup quarterback for us. Don't get me wrong. If anything terrible ever happens to the Bears, I'd be just fine with him as a backup quarterback. But if we want to start winning some football games, give it a number 1. Give it a number 1. We barely got to see his arm in this game. I want to see more of it, but just the fact that we have a guy who's more mobile in the backfield. We're going to pair him up with David Montgomery. Like, don't get me wrong. Some read options with him and Montgomery are going to be absolutely key for this offense, provide a whole new dynamic that we haven't been able to see with the Chicago Bears offense in a while. So I really want to see that. Let his arm loose and start throwing the ball downfield. I mean, you look at Darnell Mooney's speed. You got to give this guy some chances downfield. We do not give him near enough chances. You got another guy like Demir Byrd. I remember watching him in college. I'm a big South Carolina Gamecocks fan, if you didn't know that. And I remember when Demir Byrd was a South Carolina Gamecock. He's another guy who's really underrated, and I feel like we could throw him the ball down deep. And even Allen Robinson. You know Allen Robinson, all you got to do is chuck the ball up to him and let him come down with the catch. Obviously, he's paired up. Amazing game by Jalen Ramsey today. That's another reason why our passing attack wasn't the most successful. Jalen Ramsey just had an amazing game today. But take your shots downfield. That's all I can say. And I want to see Justin Fields hit the field, hit Soldier Field for week 2 against the Cincinnati Bengals. So that's wrapping up for this game. Takeaways, Montgomery's looking good. Can't wait to see more of Fields. Negatives, our secondary has really got to tighten up. And even our offensive line, like, we got sacked quite a bit today. I think we got sacked like 4 times or something like that. So rough first outing for the Chicago Bears. The Bears dropped 34-14 against the LA Rams. Thank you guys for watching. Like down below, comment anything, hit that sub button. Bear down as always, and come back next time.